Okay, welcome back to another video if you're not new, or welcome if you're new. I'm painting in this video, as you probably have seen from the thumbnail, and this is another canvas I got from the thrift store. And I'm kind of starting to believe that I probably get most of all my canvases from the thrift store, which is not really true, but I get most of my smaller canvases from the thrift store, and also one pretty big canvas. So yeah, doing the sketch right now, and this sketch actually went really well. I didn't even have to revise it or anything. I really liked it from the get-go, and everything just turned out kind of great. I wanted to try something a little bit new, but not too much that it would be, you know, how would you say, kind of, scary to do. It's like trying to stay within like trying new stuff, but not getting too far away from what I know is good, or at least what I know I like. There's not really anything good or bad in art, and I really wanted to do something different with this, some different shapes, maybe like that the shapes that have no correlation, or they kind of do. So yeah, a lot of experimenting and still trying to get better, of course, with my portraiture, and really, yeah, it's pretty normal sketch. I always start in white with the sketching part because usually my canvas is either red or black as a background. I did yellow once in my last painting video, which you should definitely watch. But since I did yellow there, the white wasn't really possible. But then I just find a way around it. But I want to do more colorful backgrounds, and also want to do more paintings with like just a black background. Simply because I kind of like the fact that it has its problems, but it also has its positives. Yeah, and some hair. I kind of want it to look like a bit like dreadlocks, but not really. Like more just kind of hair clumped together, almost looking like big cables or snakes, which is like kind of Medusa-esque, but not really like Medusa because they're not snakes. Then I would have drawn like a snake head, which would be cool to do. But I think the problem with doing that, it's a little bit too obvious where my inspiration comes from, and it becomes closer to plagiarizing than being inspired. But it could still be cool. Of course, the painting, the start. I start a lot of my paintings with actually just painting in the nose, because I think it's an easy area to begin with, especially when I sketch pretty detailed in white and then I begin. So I kind of just begin filling in all the spots, and I'd recommend doing it like this. Maybe I don't know what I would recommend because I'm not really an art teacher. I was for one day, of course, if you've seen my last video, but um, I don't really know. I know what I'm doing, but I don't really know how I'm doing it. I'm just doing it, kind of. I just do what I want to, and I think that's the most important tip I could ever give. Is like create from like just a need to create, and not from a want to create. It's like you need to do this. You need to create this. That's the feeling you need to have. Of course, there will be days or even weeks where you don't want to paint or draw or anything, and that's also completely fine. I have those too. And sometimes you don't want to do anything other than paint. So it's a lot of different stuff, and I really think that art is a great hobby, and more people should definitely partake in art. They definitely should, even if they don't think they're good or whatever that means, because there's nothing good or bad, but there's only room for improvement within yourself. Like, it's not about being better than another artist or another person. It's about being better than the last version of yourself. And that's at least, what I try. I try to be better at painting every painting. Try to do a little bit better every time. Sometimes I maybe don't do better. Sometimes I do. In reality, it doesn't really matter, because it's just, fun. It's just creative. It's expressing myself through a medium which is solely unique, and I love to do it. That's the most important thing, I think. Also, just have fun. Has to be fun. Yeah. That's at least 5 minutes of art tips. I don't know if that's useful. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But anyway, I really like this piece, and I think it turned out pretty well. I did most of this piece in about 2 days. I did the background and the sketch the same day, and then I did kind of the rest another day. I didn't do it back to back, like the 2 days back to back. I didn't like a week, but in a week because I started like Sunday and finished it like Wednesday. Yeah. So it's not the most complicated process in the world really, but I also paint really fast, which I think it plays into account how much I can produce. I use acrylic paint because it dries quicker because I paint so fast, but also because I want to paint so much. That's both my strength and my flaw, I think, because the flaw is that sometimes I'll be doing other stuff which I find boring or something. I'll be like, oh, I could be painting right now, which is kind of a luxury problem to have, I know. But also, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish my paint would dry even faster, because acrylic paint dries fast. But I also sometimes want to paint something completely different before it's even dry. And with acrylic paint, it's much easier to cover, of course, but still, like, you kind of have to let it dry a little bit, even though it takes like maybe 2 hours instead of like 2 days. I have done oil paint before, but that wasn't for me. There was some qualities to it, definitely, but there were also mostly just, headaches with it. Really a couple of headaches. Yeah, and it's really coming along and stuff. I think like this is one of the lucky few paintings where I didn't have to really like start over or anything like that. I did most of it like, in the same vein and feeling. I didn't cut out huge chunks. I did cut out something from the cheek because, as you'll see later, and as you've probably seen in the thumbnail, it's a little bit slimmer and it does wonders for this piece. And that's like sometimes you need to just like slim down a face or bulk up a face. Especially that can change depending on either if you have a body with it or if you don't. You always have to be ready to make changes or cutting things off or putting things on, because that's the real stuff that can improve. Like this fear of destroying what you already have is definitely holding some artists back. I'm not saying you personally. I don't really know what you do. I hope you do some cool art stuff. And if you don't, like, it's still cool that you watch my videos. Thank you for that. But it's mostly just art is in generally very much about trial and error. And I've definitely done a lot of errors. And if you're an aspiring artist, which really isn't a weird thing to call yourself, I think like you're an artist. So like, yeah, if you're a beginner, maybe, or you just started out or want to get back into it again, I think just, stop being so fearful. I know it sounds easy for me to say, because I've done this for a pretty long time. Not that long, but still long enough where I feel more confident in myself. But like, I do think though I can quickly ruin a painting by painting too much on it. And, that is a possibility, but I think it's very rare. If you just, really feel when you're done, you're done. You don't have this instant need to keep going, because when there isn't more to do, you shouldn't be doing more. At least I think so. But you shouldn't also do too little, so it's up to you. It's really yourself who decides what's cool and what's not. And some people may like something completely different and other people may not. That's also a part of it. Like, you can't please everybody, and you shouldn't strive to. Because if everybody likes something, that means that nobody loves it. And if nobody loves it, they're not going to buy it. Personally, that's my experience. Like, you'd rather have 15 people who love something you make than have 1,500 people who like it. Because liking something, oh, that's cool. That isn't enough. Some people gotta love it. They gotta want it and need it in some weird way in their life. At least that's what I think. Yeah. Some ways I kind of feel that my camera or my phone, which one it is, works best at night. But that's not really true. It's just that the colors of the light, they don't really get distorted, and yet they kind of do. So yeah. And here we're getting very close to the end. Like really, as you can see, I cut a part of the cheek out and did some other stuff and doing finishing details and stuff. So we're getting closer to the end, and there's the hair. It's like the last part, which took ages because it's small little detailed places and small little details I had to do along and just like keep an eye out if I mixed and matched. Like it has to be right the first time, which means I had to focus a lot and went a little bit slower. Still turned out, still went quickly, I would say, but still like turned out pretty great. And I started out with this like gray, red, brown thing, which I kind of liked, but I was like, it was still kind of invisible because it was so dark, but I couldn't make it lighter because then it would be like, then it wouldn't make sense that I didn't just keep the white. But I found a solution, which is a pretty cool solution if you ask me. And the thing I did was I used red, a little bit of red as an outline for each like thick clump of hair, which I really like because it does a lot. I'm not doing that yet, I think, so that'll be later. Of course, I had to fix the teeth, make them white and scary, and I used a spardle for this, just a little palette knife. Yeah, gives a great texture, gives a great like consistent white. Just because I didn't have any clean brushes, so normally I would use a brush, but I didn't have any clean brushes, so yeah, it was a spardle. But I still think it turned out great. And that's the problem with white. Really, the only problem I have with white is that if you have any other color as acrylic and the brush is like a little bit wet, it's gonna mix, so you can't get a clean white. Like it's a bit of a nightmare. But I really think it turned out great, though. The teeth look good, and maybe now we're doing the hair part. I don't really know. Yeah, okay, this is a long wait, but yeah, we're doing the hair right now. There you can see, if you get really close, that there's a kind of a red line going through, and this part took me ages. I mean ages, like 20 minutes or something, but still a long time. Which it does a lot, and sometimes I think the smaller details that just kind of encapsulates a thing, like using a black outline or doing some kind of shading and other stuff like that. Like these things that may seem insignificant, they really do wonders for your art. I really think so. I really do. Especially stuff like this. Just making it very clear where what ends and what begins. Because some people like this, like having really hard to look what's there and what's not and what's like mixing, and that's also a cool look, and you can use that, and I also do sometimes. But I also think personally I also want clarity, I want power, for these things. I want the power of these powerful eyes and teeth and this really just strong kind of face. That's the things I strive for. You may want to create something else in a completely different manner. That's completely fair too. I think as artists, we have our own choice in things. We have a very different view on the world and creation as a whole because we are the creators. And as a creator of something solely unique, one of one, never seen before, that's a pretty weird feeling to have because, I can't really explain it. It doesn't feel like that wild, but like it kind of is. But yeah, That's definitely my art stuff used. Now for this last part, I'll tell you about something cool I may be joining. It's a thing in Denmark though, so like some you Americans, I like you Americans, you're nice peoples. Everybody's really, but mostly for the Danish people who know, I'm going to an art show thing, and it costs money. You have to be a member of their like artist group thing, like artist something that costs money. That's fair enough, not a bad price. And you have to pay for every piece you have to have at exhibition. And there'll come people looking at your stuff, and you also get reviews of your stuff. Like you get actual feedback from credible people, which is what I want. I really want that because like it's something that I need because I get feedback from people around me, and sometimes people who don't create anything themselves think that their feedback matters. It don't, because they don't understand anything, and especially since I'm not making it for like an audience. I'm using my art as content here on the internet, but I only still make stuff I want to make. I don't do commissions really, and then I kind of do, which is my problem because a lot of artists' work is based in commissions. Because at the end of the day, art is still like a craft. It's like being able to sew or being able to do something else. It's a skill that can be learned and can be taught, which means it can be a product. Like so, yeah. But that's cool that I'm maybe going to this art show thing. Yeah. There's another thing in like Copenhagen stuff, which I have to look at. It's the last day is the 26th, so like I kind of have to call this lady right now. Actually, I'll do that after this voiceover and ask her like how does it work and like what's up. Like how do I have to send my pieces or do I have to do this and that and all these things. So how can I like realistically get my stuff like out there and into this kind of exhibition for young people, and it's like for teenagers and school students and private people and stuff like that. And I'm a private person, so hopefully they want some of my stuff, but I don't know really. I care if they want. It would be cool if to get my stuff out there more, and that's generally the mission. Get my stuff seen and get my stuff heard about. That's really it. Because if people like it, then it'll be much more, I know it's a part of it. You kind of have to create for yourself, but you also have to hope that people like what you create for yourselves. Like it's a weird world, and it's a weird, like it's a lot of weird stuff. Yeah. So as I said, this hair took a hell of a long time, and I know the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but I promise you it looks amazing. I love the labyrinth look and the texture and all the just detail it gives. It's great, and I'm definitely going to be doing that more because I also think it's fun. I think it creates something. Not necessarily being like black hair with red line, maybe another color hair with black line or something else or white line or whatever it's gonna be. Like just getting these things, trying new stuff and like making something cool is definitely just on the agenda. Just making more cool things, and hopefully I get to do that more. I will, since I have a lot of paintings actually, or canvases, which I'm gonna paint on. Got from thrift stores because that's where I get my canvases. I don't really know what I'm gonna title this video. Probably something with like, I got another canvas from a thrift store again, or just like painting. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Okay, it's done. We're finished. This is the end of the video. And you watched all the way through. Or you skipped to this part. Like, I don't really know about that, but probably you watched all the way through. So, thank you. And, yeah. Another painting on a canvas I got from a thrift store, which is actually a 56 by 56 canvas, which is a pretty decent size. Not the biggest in the world, but not the smallest canvas. I probably wouldn't go much smaller than this one, just because I like to get, you know, some amount of detail, and I like painting kind of big, and I want to be imposing, and I want to be kind of, you know, have a presence and this power that my paintings usually have. Yeah, I really like this one. I love these details around the eyes here, and I was trying to do more. I wouldn't say simpler or, you know, more detailed eyes, but since you know, the creation, I thought these simple white spots in the middle of these giant black holes, you know, like they were much more expressive and much more like just peering out, just piercing to the viewer. Of course, the nose being darker than the whole body, classic term. Teeth, great teeth here, and really love this lip part with all these small spots that are black and some small spots that are red, and all this just flare. These two shapes here, don't know what they mean, but I like them. And I'm really happy that I changed this part, because the face was gonna be like really wide before. So I changed it here, which I'm very happy that I did, because, like, you know, much more slimming the face down a bit and giving this, like, I don't even know what this is, this like meat part hanging off of its head, more space to kind of evolve and kind of like just exist in, which is awesome. Yeah, and my new type of hair, or whatever you want to call it, I love it. It's like, you know, I hope you can see it well. You really can see the detail in it, because it's awesome. You see, it's almost like a labyrinth of, you know, black and red. I really love it. It's new, it's dark, and it's crazy and imposing, and that's nice. Great try. Really a nice way to have to stick to the same colors, because I could make a brown, because you can make brown with, you know, pretty much all colors, but I didn't want to make a brown because that would be too dark to stick out. But then I might as well just use black and red as an outline, and I love that. This part is also great. All these little, you know, these very faint brush marks really give some sort of detail and texture to the painting, which is nice. You know, just I love doing small stuff that, like, not even mixing properly, but just doing small stuff on top of stuff, and then keep doing things. And yeah, this is great. I love this painting. It turned out really good, and I don't know what I'm gonna paint on next. Probably a different size canvas, because I have 4 canvases left, all from thrift stores around my area, which is always nice because they're cheap, of course. So, you know, in terms of if you can use thrift store canvases, definitely. You have to look for the ones that have like the drum sound, like they kind of bounce back when you tap it with your finger, and that's definitely, yeah, great. I don't know what more to say. I just really love this painting. It's been really good, and since the canvas isn't so big, I kind of have it's taking me less time than normally, because, you know, smaller size. But I still like it a lot. It's become really great. Now though, the problem is I don't have any more red paint. Like, I'm all out. I used the very last on this one, as you probably can see, but I squeezed out the last bits possible. Really just try to get these parts, and especially this slow thing here. Yeah, I love this piece. Great. And yeah, I don't know what more to say. Except then, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and like, just thank you for watching all this way. There is a secret word, and it's gonna be, I don't know, paint. Yeah, that's gonna be the secret word, paint. If you watch all this way through, please. I don't even know if people like do the secret word. Some people do, which is nice. Other people don't. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and all that. Love you guys and girls. Bye.